Before we talk about specific foods, there's something we need to say out loud. Honestly, clearly, and without any illusion. There is no food, no supplement, no drink, nothing you can buy at a grocery store that can kill the Nipah virus or replace proper medical care. And it's important to be truthful about that, especially at this stage of life, when we value honesty more than hope wrapped in marketing. But science also tells us something just as important. A body that is well supported responds faster, responds calmer, and responds more effectively when it encounters serious infections. And after 50, that difference matters more than ever. Because our immune system doesn't disappear with age, it simply becomes more selective. Research from institutions like the National Institutes of Health shows that aging immune systems can still respond well, but they're more vulnerable to exhaustion, excessive inflammation, and slower recovery if the body isn't properly nourished. That's where food quietly enters the conversation. Not as a cure, not as protection in the dramatic sense, but as an ally. Food shapes how inflammation behaves in the body. It influences how immune cells communicate. It affects how well the brain, lungs, and blood vessels tolerate stress during illness. And this becomes especially important with viruses like Nipah. Not because food fights the virus directly, but because severe outcomes are often linked to how the body overreacts once infection takes hold. Studies show that uncontrolled inflammation, what doctors sometimes call an over-response, is a major factor in complications, especially neurological ones. A well-nourished body is better at staying balanced under pressure. That balance is everything after 50. This isn't about superfoods, it's about steady nourishment. Foods rich in natural antioxidants help calm inflammatory pathways. Adequate protein gives immune cells the raw material they need to renew themselves. Micronutrients like vitamin C and zinc support communication between immune cells, not boosting them aggressively, but helping them work together smoothly. And then there's the gut, something we didn't talk about much when we were younger. Modern research shows that more than 2/3 of immune activity is connected to gut health. As we age, that connection becomes even more delicate. What we eat doesn't just feed us, it informs our immune system how to respond. After 50, eating well isn't about optimization. It's about resilience. It's about giving the body the quiet support it needs, so that if it ever faces something serious, it doesn't panic. It responds with wisdom. So as we talk about food, keep this in mind. We're not chasing immunity. We're nurturing balance. And that kind of support, the kind that works silently in the background, is often the most powerful of all. Supporting the immune system, especially after 50, often begins with something we don't talk about enough: inflammation. As we age, the body becomes more sensitive to inflammatory signals. This isn't a flaw, it's a shift. Research from Harvard Medical School and the National Institutes of Health shows that many older adults live with a constant, low-level inflammation, quiet, often unnoticed, but powerful enough to interfere with how immune cells communicate during serious infections. When a virus enters the body, the immune system doesn't just need strength, it needs restraint. Excessive inflammation can confuse the response, exhaust the body, and in some cases, contribute to damage in sensitive areas like the brain and blood vessels, which is exactly why viral infections tend to be more dangerous later in life. And this is where food quietly matters. Foods rich in natural antioxidants help the immune system respond without overreacting. They don't suppress immunity, they help guide it. Think of deeply colored fruits, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, not as superfoods, not as cures, but as steady, reliable support. They don't work loudly. They work consistently. Studies show that the compounds in these fruits, particularly polyphenols and flavonoids, help reduce inflammatory signaling and protect cells from oxidative stress. That protection is especially important for the brain, where inflammation can quickly affect clarity, balance, and coordination, and for blood vessels, where excess inflammation increases the risk of complications. What's meaningful here is not the promise of protection, but the pattern of support. Eating these foods regularly helps create an internal environment where the immune system can act with judgment, not urgency. After 50, that distinction matters, because resilience doesn't come from pushing the body harder. It comes from helping it stay calm when challenged, and in many cases, that calm begins quietly, on the plate. Vitamin C is something most of us have heard about for as long as we can remember. Many of us grew up believing it was something you took after you got sick, but science now shows a quieter truth. After 60, the body doesn't absorb nutrients as efficiently as it once did. That includes vitamin C, a nutrient deeply involved in how white blood cells move, signal, and respond during infection. Research reviewed by the National Institutes of Health suggests that consistent, food-based vitamin C intake supports immune readiness without overstimulating the system, especially important for older adults. That's why whole foods matter here. Citrus fruits, bell peppers, kiwi, and leafy greens deliver vitamin C in a form the body recognizes naturally, not in spikes, not in excess. Just steady support, the kind that nourishes without stressing the kidneys or disrupting balance. And then there's zinc. Zinc rarely gets a spotlight, but inside the immune system, it plays a deeply foundational role. It doesn't stop viruses at the door. It doesn't block infection outright. What it does is help immune cells communicate clearly once a virus is already present. Studies show that zinc supports the development and coordination of immune cells, helping them respond appropriately rather than chaotically, something that becomes increasingly important with age. After 50, the risk isn't usually a weak immune response. It's a misdirected one. Foods like pumpkin seeds, beans, lentils, and nuts provide zinc in moderate, balanced amounts. Exactly what older bodies respond best to. Not excess, not depletion, just enough to keep the immune conversation clear. And when vitamin C and zinc work together through whole foods, they help the immune system do what it's meant to do. Respond with intelligence, not urgency. After a certain age, that kind of support is far more valuable than anything dramatic, because real resilience doesn't come from pushing the body harder. It comes from giving it what it needs, quietly, consistently, and with respect. When we talk about the immune system, it's easy to imagine something abstract, an invisible shield, a concept, a theory. But immune cells are not ideas. They are living structures. They're made, repaired, and replaced every day. And like every structure in the body, they require building material. That material is protein. After 50, something subtle often happens. Appetites change. Digestion slows. Meals become lighter, sometimes too light. Many adults don't realize they're gradually eating less protein than their bodies need, especially during illness, when needs quietly increase. Research published in medical and nutrition journals shows that insufficient protein intake in older adults is linked to slower immune response, longer recovery times, and increased vulnerability during infections. Not because the immune system fails, but because it lacks the resources to renew itself. Protein doesn't boost immunity in a dramatic way. It prevents decline. Fish, eggs, yogurt, tofu, and legumes provide amino acids in forms the aging body handles well. They support immune repair without overwhelming digestion or taxing the kidneys. That balance matters. Studies show that adequate, evenly distributed protein intake helps preserve muscle, support immune cell turnover, and maintain resilience during stress, including viral illness. After 50, resilience is not about force, it's about maintenance. It's about giving the body enough material to quietly rebuild itself, day by day, cell by cell. And when the immune system has what it needs to renew, it doesn't panic under pressure. It responds steadily. Sometimes the strongest defense isn't a supplement or a strategy. It's simply making sure the body has the raw materials it needs to keep doing its work. When we think about immunity, most of us picture the blood, the lungs, maybe the lymph nodes. Very few of us think about the gut. And yet more than 70% of immune activity is linked to what happens there. That isn't wellness folklore. That's established science. Decades of research have shown that the gut is home to trillions of microorganisms that constantly communicate with the immune system. They help decide when to respond, how strongly, and when to stand down. As we age, that communication becomes more fragile. Medications, stress, changes in diet, all of these can quietly disrupt the balance in the gut. And when that balance is off, immune responses can become either sluggish or overly aggressive. Neither serves us well. A healthy gut doesn't fight viruses directly. It coordinates the immune response. It helps the body recognize what truly needs attention and what doesn't. That's why fermented foods matter. Yogurt with live cultures, kefir, and modest portions of fermented vegetables introduce beneficial bacteria that support gut diversity and stability. Not in extreme amounts, not all at once, just gently over time. Studies show that a more balanced gut environment is associated with better immune regulation, lower systemic inflammation, and improved tolerance during infections, especially important when the body's already under stress. After 50, gut health isn't about trends or detoxes, it's about preserving communication. Because when the gut and immune system are in conversation, the body responds with wisdom rather than urgency. And sometimes the most powerful support for immunity begins far from where we expect. Not in the medicine cabinet, but in the quiet work of the digestive system doing its job well. And finally, there's water. Not glamorous, not something you'll see advertised on a label promising miracles, but absolutely essential. Hydration is one of the most overlooked foundations of immune health, especially as we get older. As the body ages, the sense of thirst becomes less reliable. Many older adults simply don't feel thirsty until dehydration has already begun. Medical research shows that even mild dehydration can affect circulation, body temperature, and the movement of immune cells through the bloodstream. It can also worsen fatigue, cloud thinking, and place additional stress on the heart and kidneys, exactly what the body doesn't need during infection. During illness, fluid needs increase quietly. Fever, faster breathing, and reduced appetite all pull water out of the system. And yet, this is often when people drink less. Hydration doesn't fight viruses directly, but it creates the conditions the body needs to respond effectively. Well-hydrated blood flows more easily. Oxygen and nutrients reach tissues more efficiently. Waste products are cleared without strain. In other words, the immune system can move where it needs to go. Sometimes the most powerful support doesn't come from a supplement bottle or a new product. It comes from a simple habit, a glass of water taken consistently throughout the day. After 50, caring for the body isn't about doing more. It's about remembering what truly matters. And sometimes the simplest acts of care are the ones that quietly make all the difference. Food doesn't promise immunity, and it never has. But it prepares the body. And after 50, preparation matters in a different way than it once did. Not because we live in fear of illness, but because we understand resilience. We've learned that strength isn't loud. It isn't about fighting harder or chasing guarantees. It's about giving the body what it needs to respond wisely when challenges arise. Eating well isn't about control, it's about cooperation. It's about supporting the systems that already know what to do. The immune system, the nervous system, the quiet intelligence that keeps us balanced. Science continues to remind us that outcomes during illness are shaped long before infection ever occurs, by inflammation levels, by nutritional reserves, by hydration, gut health, and recovery capacity. These aren't dramatic ideas, they're steady ones, and steady is powerful. After 50, protection doesn't come from extremes. It comes from consistency, from meals that nourish without overwhelming, from habits that support without demanding perfection. So when we talk about food and protection, we're really talking about respect for the body we live in, for the years it has carried us, and for its ability to meet the future with calm strength. And that, quietly, patiently, day by day, may be one of the strongest forms of protection we have.